All right, that's one Parker Navarro touchdown. We will keep you updated on the show, but we will get started because we have a lot to get to in about 45 minutes. So welcome, Week 13, College Football Chatter. I'm your host, Reed Knapper. Thank you for joining us. We have Colton, a.k.a. O&O Sports, up here co-hosting. Lot to get to in a wild weekend of college football. Week 12 just happened. Hard to say we have 2 weeks left of the regular season of college football, but you know, gotta cherish it while we can. Said this the past few weeks. We gotta just embrace all types of college football, and that's why we have Maction on. We have Maction on in the background. For anyone that is listening to the recording, the link for the space is up in the Jumbotron. Would appreciate a retweet and a like of the space, and a follow if you are not following, and also a follow of Colton, O&O Sports. Great content, puts out stuff daily. Some of the best, like, in-depth analysis of the biggest matchups each week. Watch every single video of his. And appreciate him coming up here every week to join the crew. Colton, first, how are you? Good evening. Immediate takeaways from week 12.
Biggest takeaways are a lot of teams aren't as good as I might have thought they were. One of them was Iowa. Iowa, not many people thought that they were good, but I, for some reason, thought they were very underrated. I mean, they're decent, they're pretty good, but they're Iowa. I should have just kind of realized that Iowa will always kind of be Iowa. I picked in the last 2 weeks to win outright against Oregon and USC, and I was almost right twice, but almost doesn't really count for anything. So that's one thing. Another thing, Alabama. I mean, wow. I said in my breakdown of last week's games that it was absolutely a game they could lose. I'm pretty sure I said that in this.
You did, yes. Well. Yep.
But, I mean, I thought that they would, get it together, kind of pull through, despite, Oklahoma's going to give you a tough time. I thought they were more equipped to handle that game at home than they were, and they lose. And now their playoff hopes, they're still, I would say, on the inside looking out, but the out isn't as far or even as close to as far, because I guess they were in prime position to make the SEC title game, and I don't think they are anymore. I think it's Georgia and Texas A&M, right?
Yeah, I saw Cole Kublik's tweet. It had a more specific breakdown, but basically, yeah, the favorites right now are A&M and Georgia to make the championship game.
Which, I mean, honestly, not the worst thing, just because SEC title or any championship games are sometimes going to hurt you more than they help you, especially if you lose. But still, they were in, I would say, prime position. I would have taken them over Texas A&M probably, and now not really.
Yeah, I agree, especially as a person who picked Alabama as a national championship picked Alabama as his SEC champion. Definitely put a stop in that bicycle last week for sure in that ride. I thought they were just a unmovable object right now, Bama. I thought they were just on a roll. They were going to stay hot going into the later weeks of the season and into the playoff, but now, they showed a lot of flaws. Can't hit the big play all of a sudden over the top. They didn't really have much of a run game to speak of to begin with, but now it's just a whole bunch of nothing, at least through the run game. I feel like a lot of people are putting some blame on Ty Simpson for this game, and which is completely understandable. Your first thought is to put a blame on the quarterback, but I feel like I prefaced that run game for Alabama is pretty much non-existent, and if you want to make a least deep run in the playoff, you need to bring a defense and you need to bring a run game. Alabama might have a solid defense, but they have no run game to save their lives right now. So I think that's their biggest flaw easily right now. But Yeah, as someone that had a lot of money and high hopes for Bama, it's definitely taken a huge shot for sure. Roddy just came up here, aka Perlito. Roddy, good evening. Immediate thoughts on Bama and Oklahoma, since that's the game we started with, and any other takeaways you have from Week 12 as a whole.
Yeah, what up, bro? I would say the biggest, I guess, and I said, in our previews during the weekend on Saturday, like they better be careful, bro. And what came to pass came to pass. I mean, they doubled them up in yardage, but the turnovers kill you when you get 10 points off the turnovers as Oklahoma. Like you're gonna figure out how to win out this game, and again, I will tell everybody listening to this, you're about to see the irrationality of Alabama fans. Kellen DeBoer is back on the hot seat. As soon as you lose the game, you're back on that hot seat. And, obviously half of the SEC is taking a week off this week, but it's going to be an uphill climb. And they're still pretty secure in terms of their spot, in the championship. But, at the end of the day, I think they want this one back, man. I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, it's definitely not smooth sailing going forward, especially when you have the Iron Bowl at Jordan-Hare at night. Fighting for your playoff life. You have to win that game to make the playoff, plain and simple, for sure. And that's not going to be an easy test by any stretch of the imagination. Just another quick thought on at least Alabama's side. They need to find a kicker, bro. They need to find a kicker. I have no further thoughts on that. Find a kicker. Go through our campus, find kids who played soccer in high school, and just have them kick balls. Just have them kick field goals. That's all I gotta say, bro. But yeah, when you outgain Oklahoma by over 200 yards, it's not good. 406 to 212 yardage advantage for Bama, 326 to 138 specifically through the air. But then again, going 5 for 13 on third down doesn't help you either. So they almost doubled them up on first downs, gained 2. So yeah, I don't know. That was definitely the shock of the weekend for me, for sure. Hey, shout out to the Navy midshipmen, bro. Get a huge win at home against South Florida. A lot of people were writing off Navy for the group of 5 spot, and some people still are, but Navy I think deserves a shot, bro. Can we just be honest? I think the Navy midshipmen, America's team, needs a shot at the college football playoff. Can we just give them that? Can we at least just have them in the conversation? Because people got to stop overlooking the Navy midshipmen, bro.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. Now, South Florida's defense, good God, bro.
I mean, they haven't been good all year.
Yeah, I know. I agree. It's just like in the key games, in the Memphis game, in this game, like in the North Texas game, they were able to get that 1 or 2 stop that they need. But good God, man, their defense is trash. But I'm not opposed to it. I mean, they could definitely be in the group of 5 mix. Tulane took that bad loss, so I could see, them kind of getting discredited if some things, change. But yeah, I think that was a great win this past weekend. But I think South Florida's defense is cheeks now.
Yeah, and Roddy, at least while you're up here, I know you went on your pedestal yesterday in low space for your Bulldogs. If you care to not reenact that whole thing, please, for our sake. But you have the floor because your Georgia Bulldogs made a statement, and I am fully bought in, literally and figuratively, with the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, exactly what I said was going to happen happened. I mean, it really just came down to I think Kirby is a better coach than Sark. Like, it's just point blank period what it is. I mean, look, the onside kick was ballsy, and I see a lot of Texas fans saying that they're pointing out all the holes, how they typically do. they did this the last two matchup. They point out all the holds. They point out all the pass interferences, blah, 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 blah. But, Reed, do you know that the Texas Longhorns, they never had the football other than when it was, I think, 10-3 or 7-3? They never had the football after that to take the lead because they scored the touchdown and made it 10-14. We, milked the clock, got the touchdown to, I think it was Lawson or London. And then there was the onside kick, and then they went 3 and out, and then we scored another touchdown. So they never had the ball to tie the game or take the lead after 7-3. But they want to tell me the game was close.
The set of nuts on Kirby Smart to kick a onside kick when you're up 21-10 at the start of the fourth quarter. Like, there's plenty of time left in this game for Texas to actually do something. The balls on this man to kick a surprise onside kick when you're up 11 is actually psychotic in all the best ways possible.
He's a maniac, but I love it.
Shit, as just a pure football fan, I love it. Like, dude, it's exactly what I said about Dan Lanning earlier this year after they put out the cinematic movie that Oregon's social team puts out after every game, and they showed him in the lead up to the Penn State game. Like, he is an actual psychopath. This dude wears cotton in the pouring down rain with no rain jacket or like anything to, keep him dry. He wears a cotton sweatshirt in the pouring down rain when it's like below 40 degrees in Iowa City, Iowa. Like, this dude's insane in all the best ways possible because his team freaking plays for him. And it's just like Kirby said in his press conference after that game. Like, that team wants to seek physicality. They want to seek enforcing their will on their opponent. He said it perfectly. A lot of players nowadays are seeking a bag. The players that he recruits are seeking to become actual better football players, wanting to get physically better as a player, actually competing for championships. Like, I've bought in. I placed a future on Georgia to win the national championship. I bought in as soon as I said that. As soon as I saw that, I was like, yep. And plus 1,000. At plus 1,000. Like, are you serious, bro?
No, yeah, that's good value. I can't lie.
Yeah.
And you know who he was shading when he said that, right? I don't know if y'all keep up with recruiting, but one Justice Terry, defensive lineman from Georgia, he flipped to Texas late in the cycle, like real late in the cycle.
Yeah, he did that on McAfee's show. I watched that. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So, goes to show you, there's a couple of guys that we lost to Texas, and that's fine. I mean, it's cool, but at the end of the day, bro, like he wants to line it up. He don't care. Like, the proof is in the pudding. I have, if you watch that Eagles and Lions game, we had 9 players probably that started on both sides of the football for both teams. Like, we had Jalen, we had JD, we had N'Kobe, Tate Ratledge was out there. Dominic Lovett doesn't start for the Lions, but he's on the team. Like, the proof is in the pudding. So if you don't want an NFL career, if you want to chase that back because you don't know if you're going to be there on the next level, that's cool. Do your thing. Make that decision. But when it comes to those Saturdays, bro, if you want to win, you want to compete for a national championship and then compete on the next level and know what it takes to be a professional, I mean, you're coming to Athens. That's just what it is. Mike Jones was joking with me, that Sark was better than him. I was like, okay, cool. Like, we'll see. We'll line it up this year. And there's no football coach. Fam, the roster is 47% freshmen. Almost half the roster are playing football for their first year in college. And we're 10-1? Like, there is no better coach in the game of college football than this man. This is what it is.
Oh, for sure. For sure. 100%. He's easily the top coach in the sport. That's no doubt. Well, we have to move on to the the biggest story of the weekend, aside from Georgia's huge win over Texas, in the breaking news out of Blacksburg, Virginia, Virginia Tech has hired its next head coach, and that is James Franklin, the former Penn State head coach, after being fired after a 3-3 start to the season, starting the Big Ten play 0-3. A potential national championship caliber team to start the season. He was fired after 6 games, 3 losses. He has a career record of 128-60 between his time at Vanderbilt and Penn State, 104 wins total at Penn State, the second most in program history, a Big Ten title to his name in 2016, and brought Penn State to their first college football playoff appearance in 2024. He now leads the Virginia Tech Hokies into a new era, I would say. I mean, Virginia Tech has made it very clear they are going to start heavily investing into the football program. Reports saying over $220 million, like north of $220 million, are going to be invested into the football program. And now you bring in arguably a top 10 coach in the sport. In my eyes, I mean, records aside against top opponents, he's a top 10 coach in the sport. He was consistently winning 10 games at Penn State year in and year out. And you're now bringing him to Blacksburg, Virginia, which at times in the early 2000s, when I was just coming onto this planet, like Virginia Tech used to be one of the biggest brands in the sport, especially when Beamer was there. And now you're bringing a coach that knows how to rebuild a program. Rebuilt Vanderbilt from nothing, won 9 games for a few seasons there before he went to Penn State, and then built them into a national powerhouse, at least a nationally recognizable program again. So it is worth noting he is 4-21 all time against AP top 10 opponents. Again, the majority of those matchups were against Michigan and Ohio State. It is worth clarifying that. But after Virginia Tech moved on from former Penn State defensive coordinator Brent Pry, they bring in another former Penn State head coach and James Franklin, and Franklin has the chance to do the funniest thing ever. After they fired Brent Pry, they bring in Franklin, and Pry was a defensive coordinator under Franklin at Penn State. Franklin has a chance to bring Pry right back to Virginia Tech and reboot that program. It's also worth noting through all of this, a report came out that Penn State and Franklin came to a negotiated reduced buyout for him. Per his contract, he was owed around $49 million. They came to a reduced agreement of only $9 million, and that's before any offset from his new contract at Virginia Tech. So he straight up took a $40 million, cut just to basically get out of state college. And I mean, shit, with all the flack he was getting time in and time out, they were booing him as loud as I've ever heard a stadium boo for that man. Like, I think he just really wanted to get out of there. I think he just needed a new change of scenery at this point. And I said it before, like, I think Penn State just reached a level that, they couldn't exceed with Franklin. And that's why they decided to move on. I think they just reached a peak that they couldn't surpass and, decided to part ways. So now Franklin goes to Virginia Tech. Curious to get your boys' thoughts on it. What this means for Virginia Tech as a whole, what this means for the ACC as a whole. Because now I feel like Virginia Tech is, at least in 2 years minimum, going to be competing for the ACC in my opinion. But I'm curious to get your thoughts, Colton. Let me throw it over to you real quick. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Franklin, especially in that region, for Virginia Tech to land him, he's not going to have any problem like adjusting in terms of recruiting. So I think as soon as next year, obviously depending on how the offseason goes, as soon as next year, this could be a 7 to 9 win team. That's just the kind of needle movement that a James Franklin has.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, like you said, he got to a point at Penn State where they know it wasn't good enough. Like, they got pretty far. They could never win the big game. But for him to go to Virginia Tech, I mean, expectations are, for lack of a better term, just through the floor right now. They don't really have super high expectations. And I think that with like you said, a lot of those top 10 matchups coming against those elite of the elite programs in Michigan and Ohio State,
Mm-hmm.
he's not going to see as many of those. And in the top 10 teams that he does see, he'll probably not be as difficult, like a Florida State who's fringe top 10, or I don't know, Georgia Tech who's definitely beatable. I feel like it's going to be a night and day difference for a guy like James Franklin to get that change of scenery, whereas he might not have been, the guy at Penn State to turn them into a national champion.
Mm-hmm.
He could be the guy at Virginia Tech who returns them back to ACC title contention at least every other year. And I feel like that's very valuable for them, obviously, because they haven't been there in so long. And it's very valuable for a guy like James Franklin who needs that boost of not low expectation, like they're not expecting him to be good, but not expecting him to win the national championship or get fired, essentially.
For sure. I feel like he could definitely reach a level at least similar to where he was at Penn State, and have a lot less pressure on him, at least at first, because, Penn State obviously playing in the Big Ten, Northeast, one of the more premier programs in the Northeast. Like, I feel there's definitely going to be a lot less pressure, at least at first, with the job of this caliber. Let me throw. Oh, yeah, what's up?
And on top of that, he was a guy who saw like top 15 classes at Penn State virtually every single year. And I think at Virginia Tech, especially with the newfound, I guess, funding that they received this year, or that they announced that they receive for the future, I feel like they could be in the same exact spot. You have a top 15 recruiting class annually for Virginia Tech means a world of a difference than a top 15 for Penn State, who, even if you're top 15 at Penn State, you're behind at least two teams every year.
Yeah, and I mean, in the ACC now, who are they really competing with? I mean, Clemson's fallen off, at least for now. Georgia Tech is kind of on the uprise, but they've looked beatable at least the last few games. So who knows, like, their further outlook, especially if Brent Key ends up going. Florida State, as you mentioned, can fluctuate, especially with Norvell there. Miami has never played for an ACC championship. Surprisingly, they've been in the conference over 20 years and have never played for a ACC championship. Well, at least haven't won one. Let me restate that. They at least have not won one. Pitt, could be a potential team that they run into, but the ACC is definitely one that in the next few years Virginia Tech could seize under Franklin, in my eyes, for sure.
Yeah, and not to hog the mic, because
you're good. You're good.
But exactly that. If you're Penn State, you're going to be an underdog every year, essentially, versus an Ohio State or versus a Michigan or versus, in the past 2 years, in Indiana. And at Virginia Tech, I mean, Clemson, maybe Florida State, those teams have really flattened out in recent years with the portal and with NIL. Florida State hasn't been like elite apart from the 2023 season really at all. But at Virginia Tech, you're gonna be able to, at least with the teams that are on your schedule. It's not an Ohio State who's going to be loaded with 25 5-stars at the very least. It's going to be the top 3 most talented team in football. It's going to be a Clemson who is very talented, but it's like top 10, maybe top 15. Florida State, similar. Georgia Tech, definitely not top 15, maybe top 30. It's going to be those types of teams, and I think he's going to thrive in that kind of competition level.
For sure. And I mean, he's proven it time and time again the last few years that he's able to go into Virginia and heavily recruit that state. And as someone who grew up in Northern Virginia, knows at least the Northern Virginia, or like high school football space pretty well. Like Virginia as a whole is pretty slept on, like talent wise. I feel like a lot of really good players come out of Virginia that don't really get a complete national recognition. For instance, Trayvon Henderson's from Virginia, and you saw what he was able to do at Ohio State the past few seasons, and look at what he's doing in the NFL now. So just want to throw that out there. There's a ton of talent in Virginia that I feel like is being overlooked.
Yeah, and if there's any like loser out of this, I don't think it's Penn State necessarily. I think it's like the Marylands and the Virginias of the world, because whereas they haven't had the competition of an elite Virginia Tech as a prospect in recruiting, now they do. And now I think we see Mike Loxley's not going to have as easy of a time recruiting 5 stars to Maryland. Virginia's not been elite at recruiting by any means, but they'll probably have an even tougher time. And in that general Northeast area, Syracuse's Fran Brown is going to have a tougher time. That general area of the country is going to have a much tougher time, because Penn State's going to be Penn State. They're going to be able to recruit whoever the next coach is. But now it's another player who's going to be at least in that top 25 league in terms of recruiting every year.
For sure. Let me get over to Roddy, get his thoughts on everything, and then I have another question to propose to you guys. But let me get Roddy's thoughts first.
Yeah, so I was thinking as y'all were talking, like, and sorry if Colton already said this, I was moving around in the house putting shit up. He's the second best coach in the ACC. I mean, I would say maybe Brent Key for what he's done for the past 2 years and how he's kind of brought Georgia Tech to prominence. But I mean, I'm only putting Dabo over him for legacy and what he's been able to do, and the playoffs he's made. Obviously, a national champion, but I wouldn't take Jeff Brom over James Franklin. I wouldn't take Mario Cristobal over James Franklin. I mean, they might be the same guy. I know we've had conversations about that, but I would take James Franklin. I think, of course, Mario has the benefit of being in the, richest, one of the richest state in terms of talent in Florida. But I think this is a huge home run. And Colton, you were saying from Penn State, shit. Did you find out about the buyout situation? Because if they only got to pay that dude $9 million, like
it was a fully renegotiated $9 million, as opposed to the 4.9. So the way that I understood it, and I haven't seen like a full report on it or anything yet, but the way I understood it, they basically agreed on it. And from my perspective, I feel like it was just a way for him to just get out of there. I feel like he just reached a point that he couldn't take it anymore. His family couldn't take it anymore. And I feel like he just needed a new change of scenery immediately, personally.
Yeah. I mean, I get it, but
also because I was telling my family about it last night because I wanted my thoughts on it. I feel like he loved Penn State. He loved being there. He loved that university. He loved the fan base. Like he loved the players that he recruited. Like he genuinely loved being the Penn State head coach. And I feel like to get a pushback from the fan base that quickly, like, yes, we did give pushback to like, hey, like enough's enough with these big games. Like you have to win one big game. And then I feel like a lot of the talk would have gone away, at least for a short while. But to the point you lose the biggest whiteout game in recent memory to then UCLA, Northwestern, and everything after that, like again, the fan base just boiled over to a point where those were some of the loudest boos I ever had heard in Beaver Stadium for anything. Coach, opponent, the referees, like it got really bad. So I feel like again, it was just a mutual agreement that he just needed to get out of there as soon as possible. But also, my mom brought this up to me too. I didn't think about this, but the $9 million, like they could pay that within a month or two, like as opposed to 49
Tomorrow.
where they have to basically like where as opposed to the 49 you got to like space it out accordingly. So I didn't think about that approach either. Like he just wanted to get paid and get the fuck out of there. So
yeah, like you can dip in some of those admissions money for next fall and get that easy money.
Because let me tell you, they don't need any more admissions money. Holy shit! But that's another story.
Oh yeah, for sure. College ain't getting cheaper, boys.
Yeah.
But I just love the move. Ultimately, you boys went over pretty much everything that I was gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
The recruiting base, I think he has a lot. It in a way is kind of like Penn State light. You have the environment, like obviously when you give the fans something to cheer for. When that Enter Sandman comes on, it gets dark. You know what I'm saying? I love Enter Sandman. You know what I mean?
Let me tell you, first time they run out of that stadium with him, I'm gonna watch. That crowd is gonna go crazy. Gonna go crazy.
And so you have the environment. You have another school that's in the middle of fucking nowhere. So you're gonna have to recruit your ass off. And I think this is a good landing spot for him. And shame on Maryland. They read up with Loxley. I mean, shame on anybody, Rutgers, whoever that's in that area that's gonna have to compete. Like you had the chance. We kind of heard rumblings about this pretty early. And I get we're still in the season, so we might see changes. But there aren't a lot of great players on the market, so it is what it is. Or coaches on the market that are going to be interested in those type of jobs. So, I just think overall it's a great move. And I, not to change the topic, this is your show, of course, but we're on kind of the Penn State thing.
You read my mind,
right? I think that's maybe a spot for him if Kenny's coming with him to Penn State.
See,
I mean, it's a total different side of the country, but I don't know. I mean, some writing might be on the wall.
See, I actually think Leavitt. Now, hear me out. If this rumor is true, now granted his brother posted something on his Instagram story, it was texting with Nakos, like this is completely fake, like whatever. If Sam Leavitt were to leave Arizona State, who says he doesn't go to Virginia Tech and he just gets a new fresh start with Franklin?
I could see it.
I don't know, bro. I feel like it would be a good move. Granted, I have no idea who he would be throwing the ball to, but I mean, again, it's a completely across the country. It's very secluded, Blacksburg, Virginia. You're in the middle of the mountains. Like, I don't know. In the ACC, like it's very capable. And I saw something come up on my timeline. Someone was proposing. It was a Penn State fan. He was like, Virginia Tech fans that think that they're going to be competitive in like a 2 to 3 year window need to like cut the break. Like they need to chill out. And then listed a bunch of reasons why because of Franklin's history. And I was like, what if Franklin just solely needed a new change of scenery and he totally isn't going to look, like I said this in a sarcastic manner, but I was like, he's totally is not going to look back at the last 12 years of his life at Penn State and totally not correct everything that he thought he could have done better at, and, potentially get staffers that he's had before and coordinators that he's had before. Like, he's totally not going to look back at all of that, change at least some things from his time at Penn State to now. He totally wouldn't. He totally would not do that at all, for sure. Totally wouldn't. Because that's totally not what you go take another job for, to literally rewrite the ship of everything you've done at your previous job. You don't do that. Like that's
Yeah, and I think as I think about it, like there is no boogeyman in this conference.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Clemson, just
not now.
Yeah,
not now.
I mean, Bill, if he gets it together, maybe. but I think he can recruit better than Bill, because Bill's 300 years old, man. Like, he ain't gonna be trying to hit the recruiting trail that hard, man, at that age.
Yeah.
There's no boogeyman for real. Like, Miami can be beaten. SMU, they're gonna throw bags at kids, but I don't know if they're gonna be able to put it all together every single season. So this is the most ideal landing spot for him. And I think as he reviewed it, he probably was like, man, you know what? This is perfect. Even if, I don't maybe make my 50 mil, if I can build a legacy. And, sometimes coaching is about emotion, man. This is a thankless job, bro. Like, you have to work 24/7. So, and he said it on game day, just got to win one somewhere else.
Yep.
And he is at a Power 4 school. He's going to get an opportunity to win the conference pretty much every year. And it's just a great move. So salute to him.
And nowadays with the portal, you could flip your whole team in 1 year. Look at Texas Tech this year. Texas Tech spent the most money in the portal, and look at them now. They're favorites to win the Big 12. They could have a top 4 seed in the playoff. Like, it's all in front of them in one off season.
Yeah, that's what you said about the people on the Penn State people being like, "Oh, well, historically he hasn't been good." That is a complete wash.
This is a clean slate. This is a clean slate.
And with Virginia Tech publicly saying, "Hey, we're not doing this anymore. We're not going to be bad anymore. We're spending the money." That is what you have to do. That is just what you have to do in this age. You saw Texas Tech completely buy into the program. You've seen Texas A&M completely buy in.
Yep.
And those are two teams who are in prime position to make the playoff and prime position to win their conferences. One of them being the SEC. So for people to say that Virginia Tech, I think Virginia Tech could win 9 games next year with the amount of money that they are pledging to the program.
I don't hate it.
That's not money that you go out and get Ohio State's backup running back. That's money you can go and get Ohio State's running back. That's money you can go and get an Ole Miss running back who wants more money in the portal. It's not like, oh, we're just gonna feed off of some of the Vanderbilts of the world, and we're gonna get a backup from there, and we're gonna get a quarterback, a 3.5-star quarterback, and hopefully develop him in 2 years just for him to leave. That is competing. That is Florida State caliber buy-in. That's Clemson caliber buy-in easily. And those are two teams that I know suck this year, but have the resources to win the ACC. And Virginia Tech if James Franklin, and I think it's possible that he does do that, they could win 9-10 games next year and be in the ACC championship very easily.
Yeah, for sure. Also, last time I checked, there's still a ton of players on the younger side that Franklin recruited that are in their first or second year there that still have eligibility. Who says that a ton of them don't go in the portal this offseason? Go to Virginia Tech to follow the man that brought them to Penn State. They just do it at a different school.
You already got one of them.
Exactly.
You already got a flip from one of the decommits from Penn State today. So
I know. There was another recruit who was committed to Penn State that decommitted when Franklin was fired. He's already going on a visit this weekend. Oh, by the way, they play frickin' Miami this weekend. So this is a huge recruiting weekend for them. And the first weekend under your new head coach, like, again, I stand by this just like as a holistic approach. Like, first impressions mean everything, no matter what you are doing. Side note, UMass is god awful by what I'm watching on my screen right now. Anyway, like first impressions mean everything, bro. So you're telling me that his first weekend being hired, they host Miami, which is going to be their biggest recruiting weekend of the whole year? Like, that's huge. So, yeah.
Have we ever seen something like this? I can't remember a time when there's been a coach who coaches for one team during the season gets fired and gets hired by a different team in the middle of the season.
Roddy is probably better to answer this only because he is an old head.
Whoa, brother! I'm only a couple years older than you, man. What was that about? Jesus Christ. I'm trying to think. Jimbo, no.
I'm just trying to think like recent big hires. The board, no. That was after the season.
Yeah, Florida State let Jimbo leave, and then he went to A&M the year after in the offseason. Trying to think.
Sharon Moore at Michigan, no, even though he basically got the blessing like in the season, but
yeah, he was the interim.
And follow-up question is he allowed to like be on campus and get visits on campus and like
that
be
was
at
going
the
to be
game?
my question.
Yeah,
that was
my question. I mean, they're doing the whole press conference and unveiling tomorrow. I mean, I don't see why not. He's already down there.
That'd be funny if he's just standing next to the interim, like, "Hey, why don't you call this play? Why don't you call timeout here?"
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be at practice, but I don't know if they're gonna keep him on like any of them on staff.
I feel like he'll be there, but he'll just be at a distance. Like he'll probably be at the game, but like in a box with his family or something is my guess.
Yeah, probably.
And I think one more thing on this.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be wise of him, just personally, to go a little bit heavier. Colton Nicky obviously was a great hire, regardless of how you feel about him or his play calling this year.
I agree.
I think he was a great hire because you got, the most out of your guys. Sure. And you got fucking Drew Aller to, be considered one of the top picks in the draft, or top quarterbacks available this upcoming season. I think he should go a little bit heavier on the offensive side in terms of recruiting and personnel, because I do think defense in the ACC can dominate, but I also think that like his issue at Penn State was they didn't really score a lot of points, and maybe that's marginal. I get it, but I really do think that he should go a little bit heavier on offense and see how that works out for him. Spend a little bit more money on that high, price quarterback or wide receiver or running back or whatever.
Totally agree.
And see how that works out.
That's why I say Sam Levitt, bro. That's why I say Sam Levitt. Like you had Drew Aller the past few years, and yeah, he is what he is. He did what he did. Go get Sam Levitt, bro. I am telling you, that would be a crazy get out of the portal for Franklin in his first year. That'd be crazy.
100%.
Again, if Levitt goes in the portal, but yeah, I mean.
Also, this is Navarro's second touchdown right here. Bangira just got stopped at like the 2.
I have it up. Trust me. I will say something if Parker Navarro cashes a plus 250, 2+ rushing touchdowns. Trust me. I will announce it. One last
I'm only saying that because I have Bangira.
For 2+?
No, 1.
Okay. Well, yeah. You got plenty of game for that. You have a whole second half. Wait, dude, there's lightning. They're all running in the there's lightning. They're running in the locker rooms right now.
Awesome.
Great. All right. Well, all right. Well, we have around 10 minutes, I think, until the rankings come out. I'm pulling up ESPN now. They're doing it in the break. There's 2 college basketball games on ESPN tonight. They're doing it in the break between the 2 of them. So it'll probably be a little after. It's about 5.5 minutes left in this Michigan State Kentucky game. So it'll probably be a little after 8:30. But one last question I have for you guys relative to James Franklin, and it's going to be on the Penn State side, because I keep seeing this come up on my timeline at least, and it got me thinking, can Penn State even hire a coach that is better than James Franklin? Because I get the whole notion is, Penn State needs to find an upgrade. They wouldn't have fired him if they didn't have a plan for who they wanted, and it's like a surefire upgrade to Franklin. I feel like that's not the case, especially with all the names that have been proposed or like thrown out there as candidates. A lot of the, better options have either said no or are just surefire, like that's not happening. For example, a lot of people said, oh, well, Marcus Freeman is out there as a potential option. Automatically shut that down. Nick Saban, oh, he'll come out of television to, coach again. Like if we throw him enough money, yeah, him and his wife shut that down immediately on live television. Urban Meyer, we could also pull him off of television. Like he still is relatively young. Like he has a lot going for him. No, that's not happening. So the question I propose to you, Colton and Roddy, can Penn State even upgrade at head coach? Because I feel like no matter what, whoever they hire, they're looking at a 3 to 4 year rebuild in my eyes. Because you have to look at the recruiting class this upcoming year, a lot of decommits, 2026, the class after that, a lot of decommits. Like they have over 17 decommits from those two classes combined already. So curious to get your guys' thoughts. I feel like no matter who Penn State hires, they have a massive rebuild on their hands.
Yeah, the short answer is no. I don't think they're going to go out and get a guy who has like as much proven talent as a James Franklin, but I would also say you could hire a guy that comes out and is automatically very good, like a Dan Lanning type who succeeds or is successful right away, even though it's not necessarily the most ideal circumstances ever.
Mm-hmm.
I think that ironically that might be a what's his name? Is it Stein?
Will Stein?
Yeah, from Oregon. Or Colin Klein. One of those two guys. I feel like, or of course I said from the beginning, Hartline, one of those guys. I feel like if you're gonna go out and get a guy who can recruit. Because I mean, you have room. They're not gonna fire you in the first year. You have room to kind of figure out exactly what your philosophies are as a head coach if you've never been a head coach before.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like you might as well take a guy take a chance on a guy who can recruit and just get talent there so that when you do figure out your philosophies, when you do get the coordinator situations worked out, that everything's kind of already there to work with, and you're 3 years in and you kind of have maybe a little bit worse roster. Maybe instead of top 15, it's top 20, top 25.
Mm-hmm.
And you're kind of, I don't know, you're sitting on back-to-back 7-8 win seasons, and all of a sudden, 10 wins a year isn't looking so bad anymore, and you're kind of wondering. So I would definitely go for a guy who can recruit, like a Heartline, one of those guys, so that, like I said, you have those assets there for when, I guess, the rebuild, quote unquote, the 2 or 3 year rebuild that you're hoping for kind of reaches the zenith of
Mm-hmm.
like talent and coaching all at once.
For sure. Completely agree. I feel like they have to go coordinator route. I feel like at least offensive coordinator. You don't need another defensive mind. You just brought in Jim Knowles, and yes, the defense has regressed a ton this year from years past, but it's still one of the best defensive minds in the sport. Like, you don't need more defensive minded people like at the forefront of your program. Just my opinion on that. Roddy, is Mike Bobo available? Is he open to conversation?
After the way he's been calling plays this year, that boy is not going to be available. Especially with Gunnawanna coming back.
He's been in his bag.
Man, my apologies. So like Shaq said, I apologize. I wasn't familiar with your game, brother. But I don't know. I asked you this when the firing happened, Reed. I'm like, do they think they can get something better, or are they just tired of what they got right now?
I feel like the immediate thought when he was fired was, yeah, absolutely. They wouldn't have fired him right now unless they had a surefire candidate that they're going after. Little to be known that anyone is actually open for the job.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe the interim gets a look. What's his name, Terry? And sorry about the child in the back.
No, you're good. You're good.
But I don't know. Like, I literally do not know what could be a better option for them at this point in time. Like, I think they really need to first identify, like, what does Penn State football for the next 5 to 10 years want to be? Do we want to be a defensive type of regime that, just shut people out? Do we want to, go hella offense and score points? Like, what do we want Penn State to be?
Mm-hmm.
And from that, you can kind of gauge on what your answer to the coach, question is going to be. So I don't know. I don't have a lot of candidates. I think they, I said, and this is in the NFL, I said the Giants are going to kind of be, regretting, firing Dayball given the situation. I think Penn State might be regretting firing Franklin in 3 or 4 years. We'll see, but I don't have an answer for you right now, to be honest with you, because, I mean, Dillingham, he looks like he's going to stay where he's at.
Mm-hmm.
Golish, I don't think he's ready. I mean, that defense is fucking awful. So I don't know, man. I genuinely do not know.
Now, speaking of Dayball, is he a candidate here? Because there was a picture of him leaving his house after that firing wearing a Penn State hoodie. He is a Penn State dad. I believe his son is going to Penn State right now or just graduated from Penn State, one or the other. Originally from like that Northeast area, so knows the area very well. National championship offensive coordinator under Saban, although it was for 1 year, but still national championship offensive coordinator, is directly correlated to the uprising of Josh Allen when he first got into the league. He was the OC, I believe, or quarterback coach in Buffalo when Josh Allen first got drafted. So, I mean, I think he's definitely a possibility. It's just I don't know how being an inconsistent coach in the NFL is going to translate to a college head coach. So I'm saying, because he has no college head coaching experience, and I mean that's my only thought about it. Like I don't know how that would translate, especially when you're going to a big time program like Penn State. So.
You know who's a guy who does have head coaching experience in the NFL and who has college coaching experience?
I already said Nick Saban's out, Colton. No, I'm kidding. Who do you got?
Matt Patricia.
So we're stealing another guy from Ohio State.
Another defensive coordinator.
Coordinator.
And while you're at it, just get Hartline as OC. Pay him $40 million or whatever.
Oh, bro, man. Yeah, I feel like I love Hartline as a candidate and as a potential head coach. I just feel like it's not going to happen. They already said, F it, Knowles, you can go take however much money you're getting from Penn State. Like, I don't know. Plus there's a lot of other staffers formerly from Penn State or have a connection with Penn State on the Ohio State staff. So if Hartline is considered / does take the Penn State job, I feel like he could take a lot of staffers with him. But again, it's if Ohio State, lets him walk. In my eyes, he's one of the best now coordinators in the country, was one of the best position coaches. He's one of the best overall recruiters in the country, mainly at wide receiver. So, I mean, it's going to be tough to lure him away from Ohio State. That's all I'm going to say. Because, yeah, they could be there the next 20 years. They could be there the next 2 years until he's on the hot seat again, and then they pull the trigger. And then if Hartline is still there, he's automatically the next in line. So, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be really hard to lure him away, personally.
Yeah, and he's the type of guy they'll pay the bag for. I mean,
oh, for sure.
He's recruited the best wide receivers in school history, man. And there's 6 of them. Like, You got Olave. You got he was there when Michael Thomas and them were there too, right? I'm assuming.
I believe.
I think he was.
Hold on.
Was he there with Urban, or did he start with Ryan Day? I can't remember. But even if he didn't, I mean, you got Olave, you got JSN, you got Jeremiah, you got Carnell, you got Emeka. Like, you got 5 or 6 dudes who he's brought to town. You got Chris Henry Jr. pulling up. Like,
did you say JSN?
Yeah, I said JSN. You got 5 or 6 dudes, man. That like I didn't even mention Marv. Like, you got 6 dudes to pull up. That
the fact you just rattled off a bunch of names and you didn't even say Marvin Harrison Jr. is actually crazy.
Like, with all 5 of those dudes that I named, and if he was there during the Michael Thomas era, them dudes was wide receiver ones on their team and are currently wide receiver ones on their team. So
he joined Ohio State staff as a GA in 2017, was named interim wide receiver coach in 2018, and then permanently filled the position later that year in December. So he's been there going on 8 years.
Okay. Yeah, so those are all the guys that I named outside of Michael Thomas. And I mean, it's production, it's results. You know what I mean?
Garrett Wilson, Egbuka, Jackson Smith,
I didn't
and
say Garrett
Jigba, Olave, Marvin Harrison. Yeah, bro. Like,
yeah, it's so they're paying the bag to keep him, man.
Oh, for sure.
They're just asking him, what do you really want, brother?
Yeah,
and we got you. Don't worry. We letting you call plays. We already think very highly of you. If we get sick of Ryan Day, this is your job, obviously.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man.
I mean, they're going to throw the bag at him just to stay even as offensive coordinator. Like, you look at their offense this year, they are consistently throwing the ball down the field at a very, very high clip. Like,
with a redshirt freshman giving you, but a freshman.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
all right, we have a few minutes left, about a minute 13 left in this Michigan State Kentucky game that's on ESPN, and then the rankings, college football playoff rankings 3 will come out in the break between these two basketball games. So let's set the table real quick for these rankings about to come out. We all are in agreement. Ohio State number 1, probably Indiana stays at 2. I mean, I don't know if the committee looks at A&M's comeback last week when you're down 30-3 to South Carolina, and we're able to come back. I don't know if the committee looks at that. It's like, oh, that's pretty good. We're going to bump them up a spot. Bama is sure to drop after their loss. Curious. I mean, does Georgia goes up to 4, right? You'd have to assume.
Yeah. No, they have to. I mean, Bama's probably going to drop to 10, maybe. Colton, I saw your rankings come out. Where'd you have Bama?
I actually don't remember. 2 losses. I think I had them at 11, or I had them at 11 on the fringe of playoff, and then when I did my bracketology, it was between them and BYU, and I'm thinking, yeah, the committee's taking Alabama over BYU 100 times out of 100. So
yeah, man, we know what time it is with that. Yeah, Georgia has it before, man. I mean, you beat a top 10 team, regardless at home, by more than 3 touchdowns. So if that isn't the 4th best in the league, I don't know what is. I think the top 3 stays the same. I think it's going to take a loss for it to change. I think at this point in the season, they've built up too much resume-wise to be unseated in any type of way unless they have a loss.
But sneaky thought. Do you think Georgia could potentially jump A&M for 3?
Nah. I think they'll stay at 3. I think the body of work. I don't think it would be hard pressed to justify an undefeated team being jumped by a team with a loss.
True.
but I just don't think so. The body of work is going to come into play a lot, and looking back at it, it's a 3-point loss to Bama, at the crib, very close, but I don't see us jumping them.
Yeah. Speaking of losing at the crib with Bama's loss to Oklahoma, where do we see Oklahoma? Because I feel like they're going to be in that 6 to 8 range. I mean, really depends, how they view their resume against like teams around them. Oregon for one. Feel like Oklahoma could be in that 6 to 8 range for sure.
I had them at 9 just because I prefer Notre Dame to them. I prefer Ole Miss and Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, 2-loss Notre Dame, 2-loss Oklahoma. You could flip that. I could see you flip that for sure. I don't know if you put Oklahoma over 1-loss Ole Miss or Texas Tech.
Yeah, that's definitely a debate. And
where's BYU at, by the way? I forgot. I'm not looking.
So I have them at 10.
BYU was they were 12 last week.
Okay, and Oklahoma was 14?
Oklahoma was 11.
11. Okay, so BYU was, you said 12. Oklahoma was 11.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I mean, if you're going off of losses, of course BYU should be ahead of them technically, but we already see, SEC bias or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I don't really believe in that. But anyway, I think Oklahoma. I think they only put Oregon and they only put Ole Miss in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
And Texas Tech, of course.
All I'm saying is, you can keep going.
No, go ahead.
All I'm saying is, if UConn is not ranked,
dude,
I'm sending letters to people. I'm sending emails. I'm making phone calls. It's not going to be a fun day.
He's also walking He's also walking outside of his house with pitchforks on fire.
Literally, UConn 8-3, 8-3. Rank them. Do not rank. I don't even know who would be above them. Illinois. Don't do Illinois.
Tennessee. Do not rank. Tennessee.
Get them out. They're going. Tennessee's going to be 15th in this somehow.
Bro. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me find this. Let me find this thing. I don't know if y'all watch the Cover 3 podcast. If anybody does,
yes, sir.
Like college football podcast. Did you see the blind rankings Fornelli did?
Yeah, the resume comparison.
Yeah,
that was hilarious.
I mean, you got stuff like that happening, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so
yeah,
I won't be shocked, bro. All right, oven damn.
Yeah.
All right, my bad. Hold
on.
Also Navy.
Yes. Rank the midshipmen, bro. Please. They deserve it. They literally lead their conference. They just beat a team that you had ranked. Like, they have one game left on the schedule next Thursday. They play on Thanksgiving against Memphis. They win that. They're in the American Championship. Like, come on. Show some respect to our future servicemen and women, America's team. Real quick, for people who did not see the post or are listening to the replay, going to go over my updated playoff predictions, the fourth version of this. I have Ohio State as the number 1 winning the Big Ten. I still have Alabama number 2, my SEC champion, and I hate it, but I have to stick with it because I picked them preseason. A&M at 3, Indiana at 4. I feel like A&M is going to be a better team on paper than Indiana when the conference championship games are said and done. I feel like they'll value an SEC championship game loser more than a Big Ten championship game loser, even though that would be both of their first losses of the season. Georgia, I will have 5. Texas Tech, number 6, as the Big 12 champ. Ole Miss at 7. Oregon, number 8. Notre Dame at 9. A little bit of a shocker here. Got some pushback on this. Vanderbilt, I have as my 10 seed. Now you're probably asking, Reed, how do you get Vanderbilt in the playoff, considering Oklahoma's above them, BYU is above them, Miami is also hanging around as another at-large team? I personally think Oklahoma could drop one of their last 2 games. Oklahoma plays Missouri this weekend, granted at home, but still you can't overlook Missouri. Still a very, very good team on paper. And they host LSU. Now, if you watched LSU last weekend against Arkansas, yeah, it wasn't the cleanest performance, but they showed a lot of fight under their interim head coach, whose name is escaping me right now. You can't overlook those last 2 games. And I feel like at some point, their inability to pass the ball is going to catch up with them. It's going to catch up with them. Like, Mateer, since coming back from his hand injury, has not looked good whatsoever. I feel like at some point it's gonna bite him in the ass. I feel like one of these 2 weeks it's gonna happen. So with that, I feel like Oklahoma suffering a 3rd loss could essentially eliminate them. And then you look at a 10-2 Vanderbilt, who has some really good wins on their record, beat a LSU team when they were ranked, beat a Missouri team who is still ranked, so that's still a good win for them. And then other teams on that schedule, I feel like their resume, it would outclass Oklahoma's schedule, to be honest, if Oklahoma loses a 3rd game. So that is how I get Vanderbilt in as the 10 seed. Georgia Tech would be my 11 as the ACC champion. And then I currently have JMU, only because I feel like the committee will favor JMU at this point. They have dominated literally everybody they've played except the Louisville. And for what it's worth, they covered the spread. They only lost by 14 at Louisville. And you look what Louisville has been able to do on and off this season. So, yeah, that's my updated playoff prediction. The current, let me pull up the actual seeding, like the bracket. So the first round would be 12 seed JMU at number 5, Georgia, 9 Notre Dame at 8, Oregon, 10 Vanderbilt at number 7, Ole Miss, and number 11 Georgia Tech at 6, Texas Tech. Texas Tech beats Georgia Tech. Ole Miss beats Vanderbilt. Notre Dame gets a win on the road at Autzen, beating Oregon. Georgia beats JMU, setting up a second round of Texas Tech against Texas A&M. Ole Miss against Bama. Notre Dame against Ohio State, and Georgia against Indiana. I have Georgia beating Indiana, Ohio State beating Notre Dame, Bama beating Ole Miss, Texas Tech beating Texas A&M. Semifinals of Texas Tech against Alabama and Ohio State against Georgia. I have Ohio State beating Georgia and Alabama beating Texas Tech. In my national championship, I have Alabama beating Ohio State, with a very large preface above the graphic. I don't like it. I still don't like it. Bama, yeah, we said earlier what I thought about Bama, especially after that loss against Oklahoma. So they are not looking great right now, especially for my predictions. So, but I have to stick with it. Gotta own up to my word. Can't back out of it now. All right, rankings are coming out. They're not wasting any time because they are in between 2 basketball games. So here we go. Arizona State at number 25, not ranked, now ranked. Tulane at 24 is ranked.
Ooh.
Houston at 23. Missouri, 22. Illinois, 21.
That means Tennessee's at least 20th.
Tennessee is 20th, up 3 spots. Virginia at 19, not moving. Michigan at 18, not moving. They dropped Texas 7 spots to number 17. Georgia Tech is at 16, not moving. So they put 5 teams that weren't ranked last week into the rankings. They have Tulane ranked. So hypothetically, Tulane is their pick for the group of 5.
I don't get that at all. How is North Texas not?
Tulane's not even.
I
mean, Tulane is still mathematically alive for the conference championship, but
wasn't North Texas off too?
North Texas did have a bye last week, yeah.
Yeah. So how do you get unranked? You have
no, wait, no, they didn't. They played. Were they off? I thought they played last week. Am I tripping?
I thought they were off.
Or I might be thinking of this week's slate. They play like UAB or something this week, I think.
No, they played UAB last week. They did.
That's
but
right.
They smoked them.
Yeah. USC number 15 up 2 spots. Have a huge game this week at Oregon. 3:30.
A huge loss this week.
Shoot, that's what some people are saying. Might be aligned with that. We'll see. Vanderbilt, number 14. I'm telling you, these Commodores, they got a shot. That's all I'm going to say. They got a shot.
Respecters.
The Hurricanes of Miami at number 13. Roddy, your favorite team, your second favorite team in the country.
Overrated.
Oh, here we go. Now they have to go into a whole dispute or like a whole segment of Miami and how they're still alive for an at-large bid, even though they have no chance of making the ACC championship game.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. I have them, I think, 16.
They are overrated, bro. Roddy said it perfectly.
I don't see how you can lose.
They're so overrated, bro.
How like Vanderbilt and USC? I feel like both of those teams have better losses, but I don't know.
Vanderbilt surely does. Utah up 1 spot to number 12.
I'll never hate on Utah.
You can't. I will. BYU at 11.
That too. Whoa, wait. That means somebody's above them. That should not be. Oh, they got Alabama. That's who it is.
Alabama's at 10.
Alabama's at 10, yeah.
Yeah.
Or higher, potentially. Probably have them at 3 somehow. Here we go, Bama.
Bama at 10. Yep.
I mean, 2
loss.
BYU
Alabama.
was 1 loss to Texas Tech versus Alabama, 2 losses.
Competition level.
Florida State.
Competition level.
Florida State, Oklahoma. I just don't like that at all. I get it. I just don't like it. I don't like the strength of schedule matters more than just straight up losing an extra game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I guess it's also the fashion they lost to Texas Tech. Like they had no shot in that game.
Yeah, that's fair.
Granted, Bama had no shot against Florida State. They got steamrolled, and then you lose by 2 at home.
Wait, that's interesting. You got Notre Dame at 9, so that means Oklahoma's probably 8.
Unless they no, they couldn't have dropped Oregon. They steamrolled Minnesota.
Yeah, there's no way. So I think it's Oklahoma 8, and then it'll probably be Texas Tech or Ole Miss at 7.
They could have dropped Ole Miss. Or no, Ole Miss was they were 7 last week, right? Yeah, Oklahoma is at 8, up 3 spots.
So then I would assume it's Ole Miss, and then or Texas Tech, and then Ole Miss, or Oregon. I don't know.
Well, no, they had Texas Tech at 6, right? Last week.
Did they? I can't remember. So I don't know. So,
yeah, it'll be Texas Tech, Ole Miss, and then Oregon.
Or Oregon. Before
I think
there you go.
Oregon at 7.
That's crazy.
You're ahead of me.
Ooh.
Yeah, Oregon at 7.
Oregon with a loss, 1 loss to Indiana below Ole Miss and Texas Tech. How?
Ole Miss having what, 2 losses? Or
no,
1 loss?
They got 1 loss
to
Indiana.
To us, yeah.
To this number 2 team behind Ole Miss. albeit to Georgia, and Texas Tech to Arizona State. How? How do you do that?
Ole Miss at 6.
I mean, the 7 plays 8, right? No, 8 plays 9.
8
7
plays
plays
9.
10.
Yeah, 7 plays 10.
Uh-oh.
So right now, Alabama would go to Oregon.
That's a matchup. Texas Tech 5 is crazy.
So Texas Tech right now would host Tulane. Why is Tulane, bro? Just wait till you watch the video playback of this to see my actual reaction. Why is Tulane ranked, bro? That pisses me off. Like I'm genuinely mad right now.
Texas.
I'm genuinely mad. I would have been fine with North Texas, but I wanted fucking Navy. Georgia at 4.
So top 3 remains.
Now the only question is do they move Texas A&M above Indiana, which I don't think so.
I don't think they don't. I feel like they don't.
Top 3 remains.
Gotta be. Yep. A&M 3, Indiana 2, Ohio State 1. Yep. Oh, okay. Goodness gracious.
Well, I think I can say that the biggest miss here was UConn for sure.
And Navy. I'm standing on that hill, bro.
No, I would put Navy above UConn. Although I think I didn't do that, but I think that's just
but only by like I only have them like by 1 spot. So
oh man, I hate Miami. Hate Oregon at 7. So I think they're just doing it for matchups.
Your updated bracket is 12 seed Tulane going on the road to number 5 Texas Tech. Number 9 Notre Dame on the road at Oklahoma.
Oh man.
Miami on the road at Ole Miss and Alabama at Oregon.
Man. That's going to be awesome.
Those are some good games.
Dude, John Summerall, did you see his press conference today or whenever that happened? Did you see the clip of him talking? He was literally like, we are not a good football team. If we were ranked, he literally said, if we were ranked, there are 25 other teams that like are way better than us. Like we have no business being ranked, basically is what he said. His team is ranked. His team is projected in the playoff right now. Would be good for me. I put a future ticket before the season. Tulane as the group of 5 representative would be cool for me, but is it right? No, it's not.
What the fuck? They lost to UAB, didn't they? No, it was Memphis. They have losses to. Did they lose to Memphis?
No, they beat Memphis.
Who did they lose to? They lost
to UTSA.
Oh, UTSA, yeah.
UTSA by 1 million and Ole Miss by 1 million.
I get it. I hate that I get it, though. North Texas, dude.
I don't.
I have North Texas at like 16.
I don't. Is Tulane even ranked in the AP?
Probably.
No.
But the AP is just as bad.
They're not. I know the AP is just as bad. At least the AP has North Texas and JMU ranked.
Yeah, it's true.
Hunter, you're a check. What are you doing? What are you doing, dude?
Illinois is, I mean.
Why is Illinois ranked?
I guess. I
mean, I had them. If I had remembered Navy, I probably would have put them over Illinois. I thought I had Navy in already, but I put Illinois in just because, I mean, their 3 losses are Indiana, Ohio State, and Washington.
This dude, Juracek, has no idea what he's doing, bro. Granted, we have like 2-3 weeks to go till these rankings actually matter, but like Tulane, that's my biggest gripe of this whole thing. Why is Tulane ranked?
I think my least favorite's probably having Oregon at 7.
You would have them above Ole Miss?
I have them at 5. I don't see how you can have them below. Like, if you're talking straight up, Oregon has one loss, and it's to the number 2 team in the country, versus Ole Miss, who has one loss, and something that I see as worse than a loss, almost losing to Washington State. And they lost to 4. So, I mean, mathematically speaking, I'm not a math guy, but I don't think those numbers add up.
Not to mention, I think they value Florida. I mean, we saw Texas be top 10. They had the worst loss of the top 12 easily. They had the best loss, I guess, if you want to go with that, to Ohio State in the beginning of the season. But they easily had the worst too. So
yeah,
they value Florida. Maybe?
I feel like they still value at least the talent roster that they have, because you have to think too. Like, Florida was a top 15 team going into the season.
I agree.
This dude Roddy fucking making a milkshake.
Oh,
right
my
now.
bad. Oh, I thought I was muted. My bad.
I was like, this dude's making a milkshake for his kid right now.
My bad, family. I swore I was muted. My bad.
No, you're good. You're good.
My bad.
I was like, save me some, bro. Badass.
Look.
All right.
Yeah, but you look, Reed. This is all I'll say about this in general.
Yeah.
They want these type of reactions from us.
No, you're right.
That's what they do this shit for.
I mean,
they want us to be outraged.
I mean, it's literally for clicks. These rankings literally mean nothing until the rankings right after championship Saturday. These rankings don't mean anything.
Just think about it. What do you guys think was the key decision maker to say, hey, because when did they start the rankings? In week 8? Or week 9?
No, if this is the third one, they happen like after week 10.
I would push back on that a tiny bit though, just because I mean they have Miami in the playoff, which means if they win their next 2 games, Miami's in the playoff, and I don't think Miami should be in over BYU. If it's 11-2 BYU versus 10-2 Miami, but they're clearly setting it up for that to happen.
Dude, because if you look at the graphic that ESPN put up, Miami isn't even an at-large. I mean, I guess they technically are an at-large team. They have them listed as the ACC representative. They're not even going to play in their conference championship game. What are they doing? They have them as an at-large, and basically the ACC champion doesn't get in by this metric, by their thought process.
What is so different? So they have that's what it is. They have Miami over Georgia Tech. Wait, what? Am I missing something?
Yo, I think they should just keep Joey Galloway and Greg McElroy on the broadcast. Just have them call this basketball game between Kansas and Duke. Honestly, I would love to hear Joey Galloway's thoughts on Cameron Boozer. Not gonna lie, that'd be fire.
Miami can't play. Wait, what?
Miami mathematically, or I hate to say mathematically, I guess hypothetically they have a chance still at the ACC championship. But you need Georgia Tech to lose this week to Pitt.
Which could happen.
You need Miami to win their last 2, which is Virginia Tech and Pitt, both on the road in cold weather environments. You need, who else is above them right now? Virginia. Virginia is off this week and then has Virginia Tech next week.
What?
So they're hypothesizing that Pitt beats Georgia Tech this week. Georgia Tech would then suffer a second conference loss. Miami, I guess, would have the better strength of schedule, I guess, above Georgia Tech is how they view that. And then Miami would play Virginia in the conference championship, and therefore they think Miami would beat Virginia.
I understand all that, but how is that?
Like, I don't know.
This is our prediction.
I don't even have the standings up in front of me. I'm literally just spitballing like as we speak. But
they have 2 conference losses.
Let me pull up the dude.
They're like, okay, Miami just is in. Like, how
they're just
I think Miami very well could win, but Georgia Tech looks like the front runner right now easily.
Okay.
That's so strange.
So Georgia Tech leads the ACC. They are 9-1 and have a 6-1 conference record. Virginia is in second. Well, I guess tied for first conference wise. They also are 6-1 in conference. Pitt is 5-1 in conference. They have 2 conference games left at Georgia Tech and home to Miami. They could easily also finish 7-1. Not easily, but hypothetically could finish 7-1. SMU is also 5-1. They play Louisville this week, and then I can tell you who they play in the last week. They go to Cal. So those are 2 winnable games for SMU. That would put them at 7-1. Georgia Tech, this is their last ACC game this week against Pitt, and then they play the Georgia game. So Miami 4-2 in conference, 8-2 overall. Their last 2 at Virginia Tech and at Pitt. Like, I don't know. I literally don't know why I think they're truly basing this off Miami being the last at-large team. They don't even consider them the ACC champion, which is kind of bullshit because literally by their rules, they have to have the 5 highest ranked conference champions.
I think they're just predicting that Miami wins the ACC, but I don't understand how they could with the current
I don't even get how that's possible.
I have it here. Georgia Tech has to lose to Pitt. Virginia has to beat Virginia Tech. Wait, what? SMU has to lose one of its last 2. Duke has to lose one of its last 2. Duke's essentially out. But their best case scenario is that there's a logjam with multiple teams with 2 losses, so that they also end up as the best team with 2 losses, so that they, and I assume a Georgia Tech or Virginia.
I'm genuinely getting fed up talking about this. Like, I don't know.
It's just like my brain is oozing. I don't know why. I can't even understand.
I don't know why this like genuinely is like burning a fire under me. Like, because it's literally what we texted about today, Colton, in our group chat. We put the best teams in. It's plain and simple. Put the best teams in. Miami is not one of the best 12 teams in the country right now. That's like bar none a fact. Like, what are we doing?
That's so strange. But yeah, I mean, that's the issue with the 12 team. It's people are like, oh, more teams are going to get a chance. It's like, are they? Or are we just going to do the same thing, but with 12 teams instead of 4?
Hey, this is my yearly reminder. This is a television show. So, and my question was going to be, what made them decide, hey, we're going to start doing this week 9? What do y'all think about that?
I have no idea.
Okay, because I didn't listen to the audio of the show, but here is what Juracek said when he was at the first question from Reese Davis was comparing Notre Dame and Miami. Juracek answered, quote, "We really compare the losses of those 2 teams. We really haven't compared those 2 teams. They haven't been in similar comparative pools to date, but Miami is creeping into that range where they have been compared to Notre Dame if something happens above them." So basically, if something happens to a team above Notre Dame, then Notre Dame will be like in the same comparison as Miami. But Miami is creeping up into that range where they will be compared to Notre Dame. So if something happens above Miami, then they will be in the conversation similar to comparing them to Notre Dame.
Which is horseshit, right? Because Miami lost to not Texas A&M, and well, they did lose to Miami.
Yeah, but they beat Notre Dame. That's what they're looking at.
Yeah. Okay.
Telling you, bro.
Okay, but Notre Dame lost to the number 3 ranked team by 1 point on the last play of the game, and then lost to Miami by 3 on the road in the first week of the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and guess what? After they lost to Texas A&M, guess where they were? 24th in AP. I know AP doesn't matter, but I knew the fix was in at that point. I already knew what time it was.
Roddy, have you seen anything on Sosa? Only because I know he was also going to do a space around this time, and I wanted to try to end before he started.
It's about to start, if I'm not mistaken. If it hasn't already, let me go to his page.
I haven't seen it start. I just wanted to confirm that he hasn't started it yet.
No, that motherfucker late for everything. So
you're right. You're right.
Well, unfortunately, on that note, I am gonna have to dip.
Yeah, we're wrapping it up anyway. Colton, Colton, quick final thoughts before we wrap.
Oh yeah, rank UConn, you cowards, at CFP committee.
At CFB playoff on Twitter.
Yeah. No, thank you guys though.
Appreciate you, bro.
Sure, brother. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Roddy, final thoughts before we head out of here.
There are no better rage baiters than the college football playoff committee. Don't take the bait, Reed. It's a TV show. And that's why I asked y'all, what do you think the reason is? They said, you know what? We're going to start doing this in week 9. What's the reason?
Just started.
Whenever somebody can tell me, I would love to hear.
Started after week 1. Started after week 1. Use the AP as your baseline, and then go from there. Because I mean, the AP is the only one that's going to put out a preseason poll like that's nationally recognized.
Mm-hmm. That's why I said, what makes you think they were like, week 9 is the sweet spot?
Bro, you're even going to look at the sick ass uniforms that Navy put out today for the Army Navy game and still not rank them? Like, bro.
TV show, brother.
For real.
Just letting you know.
For real. Hey, congrats to your Bulldogs. They're going to get a top 4 seed in the playoff. How do you feel about that? Congrats.
I mean, we'll be 5 and play the group of 5 school. So I
don't think that.
I think we will. I don't think.
So you think if you lose the SEC championship, you're going to drop to 5?
No, we're not currently. We're not in the SEC championship. It's still Bama and Texas A&M. We have to have a lot happen. And Texas needs to beat A&M, and Alabama or Auburn has to beat Alabama. That would be the easier route. But no, I think the loser of the SEC championship, as we saw last year, the loser of the conference championship game, still got a lot of respect.
Hey, you know how you get in the SEC championship game though?
No.
You root for Texas next Friday. You root for Texas next Friday. You have to.
You have a great night, Reed. Hell no.
All right. For Colton, aka O&O Sports, for Roddy, aka Perlito, I'm Reed Knapper, host of Love for the Game. Thank you for tuning in to College Football Chatter Week 13. Obviously, there was a lot of chatter, and there will continue to be throughout the week, heading into Week 13 of college football. We'll be back Thursday, time TBD. Stay tuned to the timeline for that. We'll be back Thursday, though, for sure, for college football preview show. All the biggest games previewed, best bets, underdogs, upset alerts, things like that. For me, your host, Reed Knapper. Appreciate everyone tuning in. And And yeah, would appreciate a retweet of the space, which is up in the Jumbotron. If you scroll over a couple slides. So again, appreciate everyone tuning in live. Mama Betts, thank you again. You are always here supporting me. Appreciate you as always. And yeah, we will catch you guys on Thursday. Appreciate it. We'll see you.